Welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we'll feature business and community leaders sharing their stories, initiatives, concerns, and passions. Learn practical information regarding community resources and opportunities. Now, the host of Business Voice, Greece Regional Chamber President and CEO, Sarah Lentini.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore. I'm Sarah Lentini, and it's my great pleasure to welcome our first guest on today's show, Michael Kite. Mike is the Director of Business Development for Advanced Media New York. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to have you. So I'm going to guess that a lot of people in our listening audience don't know what Advanced Media New York is. And as you've been telling us in studio just before the program started, your company covers a lot of ground. Tell us about it.
Sure. So, the name Advanced Media New York is not really a household name. We are a digital marketing and media company that helps businesses in upstate New York tell their story and find new customers. Some of the brands that you might know us as, Condé Nast Magazine's largest magazine publisher in the world. So it's brands like Brides, Golf, GQ, those types of magazines. We also own and operate Hemmings, motor news magazine, Inside Lacrosse, American City Business Journals, which is the parent company of the Albany Business Review and Buffalo Business First. And what is also pretty neat is that in Central New York, we own and operate the number one news and information website in America.
Wow.
Out of Syracuse. It's called Syracuse.com.
Wow.
And for the sixth year in a row, it was just named the number one best read news and information site in the country by market penetration.
That's amazing.
And that's not, that's not a mistake. We're now seeing about 55 million page views from 5 million unique visitors every month.
Wow.
And the way that we've done that, so that the digital strategies that we apply to our own website every day are the same digital strategies we use with businesses to help them tell their story and find new customers.
55 million
page views a month.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and there's also a site that's gaining popularity big time. We launched it in 2015 for the travel and tourism industry. It's called nyup.com. It stands for NewYorkUpstate.com. It's the fastest growing site for and about upstate New York. About 12 million monthly page views, and it's grown like wildfire. People from all over the country visiting it. So.
Wow. There's so much going on in that little intro that you just gave us. So for starters, just even going back to Condé Nast, which is one of the original print, it is the print publishing empire, right? You mentioned some of the publications, and I'm thinking of others that are under that Condé Nast umbrella. Vogue, right?
Yep.
Vanity Fair.
Yep.
Isn't Cosmopolitan?
I believe so. Yep.
I thought it was a late acquisition, but I thought the New Yorker was also part of that.
It is.
And Glamour, Allure. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're right.
My father,
GQ?
My father-in-law used to work for Condé Nast for many years. Yeah, he headed up advertising for Condé Nast. So we became, as a result, very aware and proud supporters of the Condé Nast magazine empire, as I think you rightly alluded to it. And that's already huge. But now you're like even bigger. And it's unbelievable to me. And I don't know if did you mention you also own, if I understood correctly, Reddit, correct?
We do. We're the largest shareholder of Reddit, which is a huge source of news and information online, a kind of an aggregate source, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Pitchfork, it's an online music magazine. 1010 Data, which is a very large data company that helps business gain insight into, and use it for actionable stuff in the real world.
Wow. So is all of this, because I know you're based in Syracuse, New York, but we're very happy to say that your footprint's obviously far larger, and we're very delighted that you've, for the last couple of years that you've joined the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, and that you're a premium member of ours and a great partner. Are you based in Syracuse? Is the company based in Syracuse?
So our headquarters is actually out of Freedom Tower, the World Trade Center. We're the largest tenant of World Trade Center. We take up 14 floors. That's where Condé Nast is, and the advanced parent company. But we have about 11 digital hubs all across the country from coast to coast. Wow. So for the New York State market that we cover, we do that out of Syracuse. But we have folks that are in business development and digital strategy all up and down the thruway, really from Buffalo to Albany. And my job for the company is just to get out, meet people, and talk to businesses who need help telling their story and finding new customers. That's really our sweet spot. So Rochester is a very important market for us.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Yeah, I can imagine that business development, your director of business development, is a very important role, actually, in any company, but especially at Advanced Media. And then you're always very careful that it's Advanced Media New York, correct?
Yes.
Is that because there are Advanced Medias elsewhere, and are they affiliated with you, or are they separate from you, and you're trying to make sure that's clear? Or?
That's a great question. So there's 11 of us across the country.
Okay.
There's an Advance in Massachusetts, in Ohio, a number of hubs in Michigan, down south, Portland, Oregon, and in each of those markets, we do about the same thing. So we all we all run the leading news and information website in our respective markets.
Okay.
So there's masslive.com for Massachusetts. There's NOLA.com for New Orleans, Syracuse.com for Central New York, and NYUp.com. We're all premium publisher websites.
That's great.
Then we also own and operate, I think it's around 40 newspapers across the country. In Syracuse, it's the Post-Standard, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the upstate brand. And then we have a digital marketing agency, which is the side I work on, helping businesses tackle some really big marketing challenges and in putting together a strategy that's very tangible, a way they can optimize on and see that it's working through digital.
So are you able, as a company, or you even in your role, to leverage? It sounds like you're already leveraging by virtue of how you, just even being able to describe this, to leverage these various platforms. Is there, do they come together in some way? Are they part of a vision that brings... That still has print in it, which is sort of an important question.
Sure, yeah.
How do the pieces work together?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we like to look at everything holistically. Digital, we're a digital-first company, but we got our start in print. The name of our company, Advance, which is a national brand, got its name from the Staten Island Advance.
Oh, really?
It's the first newspaper our founders bought in 1898 called the Staten Island Advance. Today it's a digital-first media company, and it's not just Staten Island Advance, it's SILive.com, which is the news and information site. And we're still proud, we're proud to say we're still a family-owned company. We're owned by the Newhouse family as a Newhouse Communications School at Syracuse University, and very lucky that we have this national arm and constant training behind us. We're always about 5 years out, right? We've been doing digital marketing since before digital marketing was even a thing. We've been doing it since the 90s. SEO and SEM weren't even really terms. So we have real scar tissue, right? We've seen what works, what doesn't. But we're also this local voice, right? And we help local, small, medium, and large businesses get out there and grow.
That's wonderful. And, of course, increasingly, the way in which the tools that a small or medium-sized business has, and I'm sure it doesn't exclude large ones either, like you said, are digital sorts of strategies, which, as you said, are the side of the house that you're very intimately involved with. So how do you connect with small and medium-sized businesses, with businesses of any size?
Sure.
And how typically do you work with them? I know that you had mentioned to me that you've got lots of advice for them once you connect with them. But how do you connect, and then how do you normally proceed?
The majority of the partnerships that we have, right? So the businesses that tap us for help, we form those relationships through networking and through being face-to-face. Even in this digital world where we do a lot of marketing for our own company, trying to get our name out in front of the industries that we want to be able to help, nothing beats good old-fashioned face-to-face. So that's the majority of the new business that comes our way, right? That's how people find us. And then with meeting with them, I wanted to share today some steps. I get asked all the time from businesses of all sizes and in all industries, what do I do first with marketing? Right? And then what? And then after that? And then what about after that? We believe that we all need a clear path to go from where we are to winning, right? Now, if you asked 10 different marketing companies out there, right? You could Google Rochester marketing companies or marketing companies near me. You will find dozens or hundreds. We all will have a different idea of how we get you from where you are to success. But we all agree on some foundational things, right? Like, for instance, if you hire a personal trainer to go to the gym and the trainer's got a six-pack and you got a keg, right? You don't do ish. You don't do kind of what they tell you to do. You just follow the plan. You got to submit yourself to the plan. So what we see is to get the best results, to follow a winning plan. It's what we call in business best practices, right? Following what's already been done, using that as a template, and that's where we see people win. So there's kind of 3 or 4 foundational things to what we call success in marketing. Number one, take your temperature. What do I mean by that? How do you know where you're going to go unless you know where you are right now? So whether you're starting a new marketing plan or maybe you're just getting started for the very first time, you need a solid baseline of your company's digital presence. What do I look like? How are people finding me, right? And you need a good idea of what the market that you're trying to reach thinks of you, not what you think they think of you.
Of course.
Because we're in our business, right?
Yep.
It's very hard. We get wrapped up and we have an idea of what we think people think, and we ask people what they think.
That's
sure.
Right.
But if you ask if you ask somebody in the office, what do you think of my shirt? They're not going to tell you it's ugly. They're just not. They might make fun of you at lunch when they're with their friend, but people just aren't open that way. So there's a few things that we say: take your temperature, get a baseline. All right, number one, how is your website? Right, so we call that a user experience audit. How does your website look for the user? Right, is it easy for people to find what they need? Is it well laid out? Is it intuitive? And you want to make sure that everything on there is making it really easy for folks to find you, to request information, to call you, to find information quickly. We call that a user experience audit. And you can have a digital marketing agency do an audit of your site and say, here's the good parts and the bad parts. And here's a prescription on how to fix it, right? There's 4 things you should fix.
So that was actually going to be my question. So who's actually qualified to, so you're not asking the business. It's probably not a good idea for the business to do its own audit of whether their website is cutting the mustard for the customer, the user. Better to have an outside third party who's a little bit more objective.
Yep. Somebody who's certified
make an
in
assessment.
User experience.
Yep.
That's correct.
Would you involve that business's customers at all in helping to answer that question?
Absolutely. So doing a user experience audit, it's part art and it's part science, right? Mm-hmm. So it's artificial intelligence stuff, and it's best practices, known best practices that we've learned over several years that say this site is optimized. This is a site that's going to attract people, bring them in, and hopefully convert them into a customer. But it's also using real life people,
yep.
Your potential customers, your current customers, humans that are trained in this to see, what's their take on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The second piece, is doing a search engine optimization audit. Everyone sort of SEO, but what does that mean? SEO is how well does your site pop up when somebody is searching for what it is you want to be known for. So if I'm looking for, red sneakers near me, and I type that in, what is coming up what we call organically? How well is your site optimized for the search engine? You want to make sure that you come up on page 1. It's not always easy. That's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
And we know that 75% of your customers will never go past page 1. There's a joke that says, "Where's the best place to hide a dead body?" Page 2 of Google. And so no one goes to page 2, right? So how do you get on page 1? Same way with a user experience audit, a search engine optimization audit, or an SEO audit scrubs your whole site, and it makes recommendations on how you can make it better so you're found on page 1. And that's very, very important in today's digital age.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but just from poking around myself, for our own website on this stuff, I became aware that you might show up on page 1 through one search engine, but under one search engine you might get a different result than another, yep. And on a mobile phone you might get a different result than on a laptop.
Yep.
Is that correct?
That is. So
that's an interesting thing. It's not even as simple as do you show up on page 1 of one type of search?
No.
Because they're actually, it's not even what words are you using, but it's also what device. Right?
That's right.
Which is crazy, but it's true.
A lot to know.
Right?
Let's keep up on SEO, or search engine optimization, there's people who are experts in this, and it takes them years to get where they are.
Yeah.
And the algorithms, so the criteria by which the search engines are ranking you, change constantly.
Right.
So we want to make sure that you come up on Google, Bing, and Yahoo. Those are the 3 major search engines. The majority of it is happening on Google.
Yep.
Okay, but Bing and Yahoo still make up a good majority of search, especially in a business setting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of computers are just defaulted to Bing, and the IT departments have your computer on lockdown, or people just don't think to change them. A lot of search still happens on Bing, so it's important we look at that too.
And then, of course, it's not a static thing.
No.
You can't get yourself on page 1 and then assume, okay, now I'm there, I'm on top of the hill, and I'm never coming down.
No, that's
because
correct.
there are all these competitors that are trying to. Bottom line is that's something you have to be vigilant about and continue to monitor and to work on, correct?
You do. It's like maintenance on a car. There's a monthly list of deliverables.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it, your website's really the only thing you own in the digital world. It's the only thing you own.
Yeah, I heard you say that recently for the first time. I heard it for the first time, and I thought that's that was a really great observation, an important thing to realize. You're right.
You don't
what
necessarily
else do you
own your Facebook, your Twitter. I mean, you do, kind of, but what if they go out of business, or what if they fold, or if something happens, right?
And they control the site. You don't.
That's right.
Yeah, whereas your website, presumably you would, control your own website, right?
That's right. So kind of, if you think about it, the investment that you put into your website, so search engine optimization, the user experience of it, you're building up equity. You get gains for the long haul. It's not like running a display ad on a website where it ran and then no one ever sees it again, right? It's like an empty seat on an airplane. It can never, this is different. You're building up equity. It's for the long term.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there, people that have been in the business world for a while, and I'll count myself among those. I think folks like us never blinked an eye at the notion of putting money into a print piece, right? Putting money into a brochure, putting money into an annual report. Thinking of the things that that used to be part of an annual budget as a matter of course, and they may still be, but a lot of us who've seen the world change have to also probably change our thinking a little bit about how we invest dollars, because it is still somehow more comfortable for me when I've got a tangible product that I paid for. And of course, a website is an intangible. But to your point, first of all, its potential reach, if not its current day reach, its potential reach is so much greater, and its impact and its the role that it can play in presenting the business to the community is actually enormous, right?
That's right, and the way that people want to get their content and the types of content they want has changed. It doesn't matter if it's business to business or business to consumer. People don't have the attention spans they used to. They want stuff that is quick, compelling, interesting. Video is huge. If you go to our site, there's a blog post, 18 reasons you must have video on your site. It's insane the way people want to get their information. Now, it's not necessarily a print piece. It's infographics. It's a white paper. It's a testimonial. It's a case study.
Wow.
It is blog posts, if I didn't say that one. I mean, there's tons
I don't even know what that is, by the way. What's a blog post?
A blog post, right?
Oh, blog post.
Yeah, blog post,
Pardon me, I didn't hear
No, I was hoping you knew what that was.
I do.
Okay,
actually,
no,
I actually, we have a blog.
Yeah, I know you do. Yes, and listicles, right? Top 10 reasons, to get away to Jamaica this fall, right? Sponsored by the Jamaica Visitors Council. I'm making this up, but people just want this kind of
lists.
They do. They love it. It's easy. I mean, the lunch and learn that we did at the Greece Regional Chamber a couple weeks ago was called 7 Ways to Improve Your Website. And
do you know what? We put out an e-blast for that, and I would say within 24 hours we were sold out.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's because everybody knows they need a site, and no one loves their website. No one ever loves their website. I mean, there's always stuff you want to change, right? A couple more things I want to share too about the steps to success for marketing. I think it would be helpful for business owners or somebody who heads up marketing for their company. Like we said, you asked me about could we talk to your customers and see what they think about your site? Well, we recommend that as well. We work with a company called Drive Research, amazing company, and what they do is voice of customer research. So they're really they're out there on your behalf as a business owner, talking to your target customer, your current customers, your wish list customers. People who stop doing business with you, and they're asking you the questions. Why do you do business with them? Why did you stop? That type of thing. Just the sheer act of reaching out shows that you care and that you're a leading company. People like that.
That's a really good point. Yep, that process piece is not just about the end goal.
No.
Yeah.
It's they care about why I stopped, or why do I keep going, or what would it take me to switch?
What a wonderful relationship builder.
It is. And the insight that comes back, usually, what I see, probably, I'm just making this number up, roughly probably 75% of what comes back confirms what you thought. But there is always stuff that comes back, and it's in a report, and you sit down with us, and we digest it with you, and there's infographics and graphs, and we show you, this is what happened, this is how we can fix it, and there's some stuff in there that you just wouldn't think of that, you might ask a customer, and say it's a business-to-business company, have you done business with any of our competitors in the last 12 months? And they have told you, nope, you're our only one, and then you find out, yes, because you haven't been able to meet deadlines. People just don't tell you this stuff. They don't want to hurt your feelings.
Right.
So have a third party do it, right?
That's really that sounds like very, very good advice. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore. I'm Sarah Lentini, and I'm sitting here with Michael Kite, who is Director of Business Development for Advanced Media New York, which is a company that is really an umbrella company for many, many different sites, websites, print publications. That little company called Condé Nast that publishes those little magazines like Vogue and Vanity Fair, and he's talking to us about the ways in which media and communications and marketing are really evolving, and of course, Advanced Media New York is on the leading edge of that evolution. So, tell us a little bit more, if you would, about ways in which you work with business and the kinds of services that you're able to offer them. And then, I have to imagine that you've seen quite a bit in your day, and you probably have a pretty good idea of what some of the pitfalls are for businesses as well. So
absolutely. So some of the ways that we work with business, you think digital marketing, even if you don't have a vast knowledge of digital marketing, you know the buzzwords, right? So it's social media. People know that. SEM, Google, pay-per-click, Google AdWords. People know that term. Display ads, targeted email. People know these. The idea is for us to diagnose the problem, right? And then write a custom prescription. What are the 2 or 3 things that you could be doing to reach the right people at the right time with the right message? Measure it. That's huge.
It is huge.
And do it again. The good stuff. Don't do the bad stuff anymore. And just like a wealth manager would do, right? Like a retirement company would do. It's a portfolio. So we are constantly looking to tweak and optimize as certain things are doing better, so you're really getting the biggest bang for your buck. Having a third party watch that over for you so you can run your business and not run necessarily your marketing and be knee deep in your marketing is a really big benefit.
Sure is. So how many of your customers are relatively small businesses, and do you have to have a ton of money to be working with a company like an Advanced Media?
We work with businesses of all sizes, and no, you don't have to have a ton of money. I think part of our discovery process when we sit down with somebody is to approach it with the heart of a teacher and not with the heart of a salesman. If you feel icky or feel like someone's trying to sell you something, you should do more research and meet with somebody until you really feel like they're teaching you. So we like to sit down and say, okay, we know, and we look at it from data. You're a business I'm going to make this up. You are a, let's think of something here, a healthcare organization. We know you're a doctor's office, plastic surgeon, whatever. You're in healthcare. We know that in 2019, healthcare invests a % of their annual income into marketing, right? So X dollars, right? Or you're a small retailer or a small business or mom and pop. We know that retail invests, on average, we could show you the data, X % of annual revenue to marketing. And you don't have to do that year one. We say you got to crawl before you walk before you run. So what if you were to look at, let's say it's, your industry invests 3% of annual revenue into marketing, right? And we know that from data. We want to make sure that you're kind of in the same playing field as the competition.
Gives you a benchmark.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And maybe you don't have to do 3%, but what if you did 1%? What if you did half of 1%, right? Then now we have a number to work with. Then the question is, well, where do I put it? Now, we're a digital-first company, but we don't believe that you should put all of your marketing dollars into digital strategies.
Oh, that's interesting.
We want to fish where the fish are. So we know today about 60-70% of people's time spent with media in the day is spent on digital. It's spent with digital property. So we would recommend a split of your marketing dollars, about 60 to 70% go to digital, and the remainder go to traditional. And when I say traditional, could be TV, radio, right? Print, trade publications, trade shows, that type of thing.
And you have similar percentages for how much of the audience is tied up with each one of those platforms as well, correct?
Exactly. We want to just mirror the market.
Right. And so 60% is a huge number that are tied up, that there's of the audience being connected to digital marketing and digital platforms. So I'm assuming that's growing. Right?
It is. We see it.
Do you have a sense of how rapidly that's growing, or how much growth you've seen in the last few years?
The last few years, we've seen huge growth. It's probably not too long ago, I'd say maybe even 5 years ago, that number wasn't 60-70%. It was a lot lower. It grows and grows just because that's just where the media is, or our media, or our information and our news is coming to us.
Right.
It's no longer necessarily are we sitting down waiting for a show to come on or waiting for the weather report.
True.
It's right in our hand. And 90% of people, 9 in 10 people that are your audience, right, that's your target customer, begin their purchase process with a search, with an online search. You just want to make sure that you're highly relevant. You're on page one. You have a beautiful web presence, and whatever you're doing to get your name out and to connect with the right people at the right time is targeted and measurable. So you're not wasting your money.
Yep. So if you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore. I'm Sarah Lentini, and I'm talking with Mike Kite, Director of Business Development for Advanced Media New York. So the thing I've not asked you about, Mike, is you. Tell me a little bit about you. I don't know, how long have you been with Advanced Media, and what were you doing before? How did you come to be in this role?
So I've been with Advanced Media New York for 2 years. And prior to that, I spent a long time in more traditional marketing. I started out in radio and print and television, and I think as the time evolved and as media evolved, I needed to evolve. And I was consistently meeting with customers who said, what do you have that's digital? And it's not that they wanted to throw traditional away. It has a place, but we want to fish where the fish are, right? Where's digital? Yep. So I spent a long time in TV and radio. I worked for a PBS affiliate in sales and marketing there, and helping businesses reach a niche audience on PBS. I also spent about 10 years in Washington, D.C., even though I'm from upstate.
All right, wait a minute. The math isn't adding up. 10 years? Really?
I did, yeah. 10 years.
There's an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm 30, almost 39. So.
I wasn't fishing for a specific number, but my goodness.
10 years in D.C. and I did corporate partnerships in a different space. I was in the nonprofit world and helped different brands.
I think that's great. What a wonderful background. I think it's got to be particularly useful to have been in what sounds like virtually every platform, working for both for-profit and nonprofit.
Yep.
So that's a fantastic background.
Yep.
So as you're kind of moving forward in this digital space, what do you have a particular interest, sort of you, Mike Kite, but then also your business in seeing happen in the next, 5 years, 10 years? What have you guys laid out a kind of a vision for yourselves, or perhaps you've got one for yourself? Yeah,
that's a great question. We really have. Personally, what I love most about what I do and why I've stayed in this industry. This is now my 16th year in this industry. Is to meet people and show them that there is a path from where you are to where you want to be. And, you don't have to have a budget the size of a national or international corporation to really get traction and to see big results. And I like teaching people, showing them, right? I love coming at it from the heart of a teacher. That's what I really enjoy. As our company evolves, it is, I can tell you right now, whatever the case of digital marketing was, or digital or marketing when we woke up this morning, is not going to be the case when we leave. And we're very fortunate to really have the next wave of digital strategists that are always looking out. What's the next thing, right? Right now, Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, and there's a lot of social networking sites out there. Tomorrow there might be the next Facebook, right? And you never really know. There's always something brewing. Our job is to stay one step ahead and figure out where are you going to get the best bang for your buck. Maybe what's too early to jump on right now? What's tried and true? Who have we seen results with? You know what I mean? How can we show you that path? But it's changing fast, and if you're not changing, you're dying.
I think that's so true, and it's not just true in the marketing arena. I think that's true in general.
It is,
and I like when things are true in more than one context. I have to tell you that one of the things I also heard you say at the beginning of this that I really appreciated, because I also think this is true, is that face-to-face interactions still matter. In fact, maybe they matter more than ever. They haven't been completely done away with, and they haven't been substituted, by this technology and new digital landscape. But there is great power in being able to use technology in order to enhance and supplement what, at the end of the day, are still human relationships.
For sure.
And so I don't remember exactly how you put it, but I really appreciated hearing you say that. And of course, even the process of reaching out to one's customers, which you're obviously very involved in doing for business, is a way to maintain and enhance a human connection that can get lost and that you need in order to be successful.
And I think it's so easy for folks to kind of get lost behind the screen. Right. And email, and I'll say in my own business or, friends' businesses, people will email each other back and forth, and they're 15 feet apart from each other. And for 4 days, they're going in a war. One can't get something from the other one. And I'm like, just go over there and talk to them. Right. That's just the nature of the world we live in. But, what we see is our most successful partnerships with local businesses are the ones that start face to face.
Yep.
It's so important.
Sure is. So before I let you go, speaking of connecting, if folks are interested in learning more about you or Advanced Media, how would they go about doing that?
Very simple. Check out Advance, no D, people say advanced, advancemediany.com. Check out that site. You can click on our Rochester link. You can just find me on LinkedIn, get a cup of coffee, and we'll kind of walk you through maybe our approach and how we can help. And
if all else fails, advancemediany.com, or you can always find Advanced Media on the Chamber's website, which is greasechamber.org. Mike, we thank you so much for coming in today and joining me here on Business Voice.
You bet. Really enjoyed it.
Our next guest is coming right up from Fidelis Care, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the voice of liberty.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore.
Get all the advantages when you shop at PetSaver.
Like our do-it-yourself pet wash for just $9.99 every day. We supply all the shampoo, towels, tubs, and water. And we clean up after you, too.
The PetSaver-friendly staff helps you protect your pet from fleas and ticks with simple, safe, economical, and vet-recommended protection.
We are here 7 days a week in person to help you find only the best pet food, treats, toys, and more.
Can't get that online.
Remember, every time you shop at PetSaver, you are helping to feed our local shelter pets.
Do your community and your pet a big favor.
Shop at PetSaver!
The Love Your Pet More store.
PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore.
In Greece, Monroe Ave in Brighton, Webster, and in Victor next to Party City, across from Eastview Mall.
The Greece Regional Chamber presents a Health and Home Expo at the Northwest Family YMCA on Long Pond Road, Saturday, February 23rd from 9 a.m. to noon. Check out great exhibits to inspire health and better living, plus giveaways, drawings, free admission, and free parking. Gold sponsors include Bartolomeo and Parado Funeral Home, Genesee Regional Bank, Holy Sepulchre Cemetery and Ascension Garden, and Home Instead Senior Care. For details, visit greasechamber.org or call 585-227-7272.
Alexa, play WYSL. And hear the WYSL stations worldwide. WYSL1040.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore. I'm Sarah Lentini, and I'm delighted to welcome my next guest, Jennifer Lyons, who is Director of Marketing for Fidelis Care. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me here today.
Oh, yeah, I'm delighted that you're here. So Fidelis Care is a name that will certainly be familiar, I think, to most of our listeners, but they may not exactly know all that much about Fidelis Care, and I'm guessing most of them don't know the original history of Fidelis Care because you guys, you started in a much smaller, more focused mission, did you not? And you've gone through quite a lot of change in recent years. Tell me a little about that.
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked because we like to talk about this. Fidelis was founded over 20 years ago, really on the belief that all New Yorkers should have access to quality, affordable health coverage. When people don't have health insurance, they're going to be more likely to avoid seeking care, going to the doctor, in fear for costs that they may incur. So our founders saw that need and really wanted to be involved and bridge that gap and make sure that regardless of your income or where you're coming from, that you still have access to the very necessary health insurance. So we have grown over the years and now provide insurance to people of all ages and at all stages of life through a variety of programs sponsored by New York State.
Wonderful. And I might be remembering this incorrectly, so you'll fix this if I'm wrong, but didn't you start in New York City?
That's right. Yep. Started in the boroughs of New York City through the Catholic Diocese, founded by the bishops of the Catholic Church. And again, it was really that mission and spreading that through the other regions throughout the state. And we've grown pretty rapidly.
You sure have. 20
Absolutely.
years, I heard, right?
Yes. In over 20 20 years. I've been with the company. I started over 14 years ago, and at that time, our Buffalo regional office that I work out of supported 5 counties in the Buffalo area. Yeah. And today, the region covers 17, and we've expanded into the Rochester area several years ago. So this expansion has been going on throughout the state. So we offer programs in all 62 counties now.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Congratulations to you guys. That's really an amazing growth story, really an amazing success story, and an area that's so very important to pretty much, every American, right? So the thing that I'm aware of, correct me if I'm wrong about this, is that here in Rochester, you guys are an on-exchange. Your focus is an on-exchange focus, correct? And people may not even know what that means, so we probably should define it for them, right? You're working through the New York State of Health platform?
That's right. Yep, the majority of our programs people can apply through. They have the one door to applying for all plans now through the New York State of Health Marketplace. It's the official health plan marketplace where people can go in and really shop around for plans. And it's going to, as you're going through the application, look for different information as far as who is in your household, what kind of income you have, and it's going to determine what programs you may be eligible for. And this is where Fidelis offers all of the programs that are available on the New York State of Health, from Medicaid managed care to Child Health Plus to the qualified health plans, which open enrollment just ended for those for the 2019 year, and also the Essential Plan, which is a program that started just a few years ago.
Fantastic. And so we were talking in studio before we went back on air about Child Health Plus. And Child Health Plus is, there's a program name that's certainly been marketed. I think New York State's actually done a great job of making that term and the program recognizable. But I don't know if necessarily everybody listening really knows what Child Health Plus is. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Because getting kids covered is so important.
Yes, this is a program that's very dear to our mission. And like you said, I think a lot of people just don't realize that this program is available or what the eligibility requirements are. And it's been around for a very long time. So it's a New York State sponsored program, but different from Medicaid, where there is an income limit to qualify. For children who are uninsured, there really is no cap to how much the household can make.
That's an important point to be making.
Absolutely. Yep. The difference that people will see is when they apply based on their household size and their monthly income, it's going to determine where they qualify as far as how much, if anything, they may have to pay for the health insurance for their children.
But just to say one more time, there isn't the same kind of household income cap for Child Health Plus that there would be for some of the other insurance programs that might have some assistance connected to them?
That's right. Yep. Medicaid managed care goes by the federal poverty level. So if you are over the income limit for Medicaid, you would have to look to other programs. So for children, that's where Child Health Plus is a great resource. And like I said, depending on the family's household size and income, the insurance may be free for the children. But families that have a higher income range have that option to enroll their children and pay a premium towards that. And the premiums start out at $9 per month per child.
Oh, my.
So
That's
we really...
so reasonable.
Absolutely. And they move up very gradually from $15 to $30 to $45 and so on. But really, that monthly premium is the only out-of-pocket cost to the family.
Oh, wow.
So when you go to the doctor, there's no copays, and it's very comprehensive coverage. Not only does it cover their medical, but also prescriptions, prescription drugs, as well as vision, dental, sometimes hearing and speech services are needed, and of course their preventative care that includes all their immunizations as well.
Well, great coverage. And that's the premiums. I realize that the premium is going to, the monthly premium is going to be different depending on the household income. Right. But without having an actual cap on household income, and with a premium that begins as low as $9 a month and goes up gradually, it sounds as though it could be a very attractive option for lots of families and households out there. So I appreciate you taking the time to explain that a little bit. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore. And I'm delighted to have with me in studio here today Jennifer Lyons, who is Director of Marketing for Fidelis Care, which is, of course, one of the insurance companies that has multiple offerings, actually, that are available through the New York State of Health, often called the New York State Exchange, an online platform that New York State has put in place. I imagine that the vast majority of people in our listening audience will have heard in some way, shape, or form of the Exchange, and obviously of Fidelis Care as well. So tell us about the other kinds of plans and types of coverage that an individual or a family or a business, for that matter, might be able to get through Fidelis Care.
Sure. I mentioned the Essential Plan. So Child Health Plus is the program for children who don't qualify for Medicaid, where the Essential Plan is an alternative for adults 19 and up who don't qualify for Medicaid. And it does have an income cap. There's 2 levels to the Essential Plan, but it allows families who are just over that federal poverty level to still obtain affordable health insurance. And again, depending on where their income range falls, it may be free coverage for the adults. They may not have to pay anything towards a monthly premium, or a premium as low as $20 a month. So again, the key, trying to make sure that people have access to the quality and affordable health coverage.
And that's obviously a very attractive and very moderate kind of a monthly premium that you're talking about. Even if it's $20 a month, that's so much more affordable than the vast majority of off-exchange programs would be and coverages. So talk a little bit about is the Essential Plan, is that a plan? Is it one type of coverage? Does it have, a variety of wrinkles? Do you have choices on the Essential Plan?
Well, the Essential Plan, there's several different insurance companies that offer all of these programs. So Fidelis is one of those carriers. Okay. And the Essential Plan covers all the 10 essential benefits and really falls between the Medicaid benefits and the benefits that are available through the qualified health plans that people can purchase through the exchange during open enrollment. So there are maybe higher out-of-pocket costs for some of the Essential Plan benefits than maybe people would pay if they have Medicaid coverage, but it would be less than what people are paying through a qualified health plan. So it really gives that middle ground for people who are right in the middle.
And are likely to be working, correct?
Exactly. Yep. So, this is for people who are typically making those earnings that are over that Medicaid limit, but still to purchase a plan may not be reasonable for their budget.
Right. And we mentioned recently that, a couple of minutes ago, that you're really focused on the New York State of Health as the platform for what you offer in the Rochester region, right? How big is that region? Is it a multi-county region?
Yep. As far as Fidelis terms, our region we consider for the Rochester area is 9 counties.
9 counties. So Monroe is sort of at the core.
Absolutely.
Obviously, that must include all of the contiguously surrounding counties and maybe a little bit beyond. Correct?
Yes, and actually, our statewide, we are consistent.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just how our regions break down. So I oversee the Buffalo and Rochester regions, and then where our region stops, the Syracuse region picks up. So there's really a continuous coverage area,
which is awesome. And one of the things that we appreciate, as many people that are listeners of the program and of WYSL more generally probably already know, the Greece Regional Chamber has a health insurance brokerage firm, and we offer medical, dental, and vision coverage. We're proud to be able to turn to organizations like Fidelis Care and other insurance companies in order to be able to help people, families, and businesses in the community with access to good quality and wherever possible, really affordable health care as well. And so we love working with you guys, and are also really happy that you guys are part of the Greece Regional Chamber membership. One of the things that that as we kind of look at what's going on across the landscape that we're very aware of is that people are struggling with healthcare costs. Mm-hmm. So it's great that there are the options that you're talking about. Are you seeing any changes in the future? And are you especially looking to possibly make change in this region? Part of why I wanted to emphasize the fact that you're on the New York State of Health right now in the Rochester region is because unless I misunderstand, in other parts of the state, you have potentially some offerings, some plans that are off exchange as well. Is that correct?
Well, the plan offerings are pretty consistent throughout the state. We may have some variations, and those are more along the lines of where we offer our senior programs.
Medicare,
but we do,
yeah,
that's
right.
right.
What I was talking to somebody about recently.
Yes, yep. So that varies by county, but the New York State of Health plans that are available, we actually do offer on and off exchange throughout the state. We, see most of it going through the exchange, but I believe it is an expectation of the state that we do have the ability for people to apply with us off exchange as well.
Wonderful.
Yep.
I didn't actually know that. That's great.
We don't offer the group-based plans, the small employer plans, where we just really focus on the individual and family plans, because that's really where our core has been, is really...
That's your history, obviously.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
So we haven't gotten into the small business, but we do work with a lot of people who are self-employed and have small businesses. Yep. And, they really have that option whether they want to go into it as a group or if they want to link us to their employees to sign up individually.
So that's great. So all those options are available to folks. And then the Medicare, is that something that you offer outside of the Rochester region at this point, but you do offer it in other parts of the state?
Right. Most of our Rochester counties to the north, we don't offer Medicare, but we do into some of the southern counties and then in the Buffalo and in Syracuse regions and other areas across the state, but not yet in the general Rochester.
Right. But who knows? That could be something that changes in the future.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, your company is not static. We've understood that. With a little bit more than 20 years under your belt, you've already you've already gone through a heck of an evolution. So
that's where it's so hard to predict change too, because a lot of factors come into play.
That's right. But I didn't even know that you offered Medicare anywhere until recently, so I thought that was interesting because, of course, that's also of great interest. We've got this baby boom population that's just hitting certain ages, and at this point, we've got so many people that are interested in Medicare. We have tons of people that we've worked with over a long period of time, that are aging out of traditional commercial plans and are, looking for assistance with Medicare. So it's always good to know that there are resources, and obviously that's something you are offering in the Buffalo area, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful to know. So one of the other things that I'm really excited about is that you guys are participating in our upcoming Health and Home Expo. As people listening may or may not know, the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce every year puts on an annual Health and Home Expo. This year, just like last year, we're going to be doing that on February 23rd. It's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. It's going to be at the Northwest Family YMCA on Long Pond Road in Greece, greater Rochester area, obviously. And where Fidelis Care is going to be there with an exhibit table and ready to answer questions, give out information. Are you going to be there, right, Jennifer? Somebody from your staff?
I may try to be there myself. We are always looking for these kind of opportunities to reach the uninsured, and it's been a great partnership with the Chamber. You guys link us to a lot of opportunities, so we'll be there, and it's great. We are really grassroots outreach efforts, in this being an event that's open to the public where they can come in, and there's so many resources. So we will definitely have representatives there to provide information and answer any questions that people have.
That's wonderful. So the Health and Home Expo on the 23rd of February is going to have, in addition to lots of exhibitors, lots of great activities and giveaways and drawings that I think the public will like, and it's free and open to the public. And of course, the Y, is a great place, a great gathering place, and has lots of free parking and all that good stuff. So we hope people turn out. So as you guys are looking to the future, and I know you've got, coverage throughout the great state of New York. What other sorts of things are you looking to accomplish? I know that you're very interested in making sure that people that are uninsured become insured? And is there, are there any strategies or initiatives or events that people might want to be aware of?
Well,
down the pike.
Absolutely. And that, going back to our mission, it's really getting out there on the ground and working with partners like the local chambers. We work really closely with a lot of doctors and hospitals. We have a huge network across New York State with over 70,000 providers. So we use that to our advantage. And with those partnerships, we're able to reach more people and help people enroll. So this is something that we're always looking. As long as we've been around, we're still uncovering new opportunities. So that's something through the events, working with local schools and churches, just wherever we might be able to interact with people who are looking for more information.
And if folks are looking for information from you, first of all, there's no charge, right?
That's right. We have, I always recommend that you meet with one of our representatives. They're certified by New York State to actually go through the application. They know all the ins and outs, and they are constantly refreshed and with updated information. So they really can sit down with someone and learn a little bit about what their needs are as far as their medical needs, what their budget is, and find a plan that's going to work out the best for them. So we have a very large team of representatives that are available to meet with people one-on-one, either out in the community or in the privacy of their own home.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yes, we always encourage people to give us a call to find out more, and our toll-free number is 888-FIDELIS. But we also have a website, fideliscare.org, that has a ton of great resources where people can find out more if they want to do a little research first. We have some tools like the Affordable Care Advisor, where people can punch in just a few details about their household and get a quote and find out what options may be available to them.
That's wonderful. And do you have an office that people can visit in the Rochester region as well?
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that. We have our Rochester regional office is in Pittsford in the Victor area, but we have a downtown office in Rochester, and that's 28 East Main Street. And that was really created for a community resource. So people are members. If they want to come in and ask questions or pay a bill, that's something they can come in and do. Or people that just want to find out more about Fidelis or apply for coverage or renew their coverage, we have representatives there all the time that can help out with that.
So you can just walk in.
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry about having an appointment
needed.
in advance.
Right.
You could see it, be walking down the street and go, you know what, I want to check it out. You could walk in and somebody would see you.
And that's what we hope people will do and find out there's so much more that they can do. For some people, it might not be easy to get on the phone and deal with things that way. It might be easier for them to come down and talk with someone face to face. So we have someone there that will be able to help them with really anything that they could call in for.
That's wonderful. So what are the hours, and what did you say, 28
East Main Street.
East Main Street.
Yep, and we're there typically Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5.
Okay, so Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, and 28 East Main Street. Do you have a sense of what the cross street might be?
It's the First Federal Plaza building, so that's usually how everybody gets there.
Right. I think it's State Street maybe on one
State
side.
Street.
Does that
You're
sound
right. State Street
in
Maine.
but I think it's something else on the other, if my memory serves. But anyway, right there at the First Federal Building, kind of the heart of downtown, 28 East Main Street, and you can just drop on in, no cost, and you get expertise. And especially if you've tried to get on the New York State of Health, you went on and maybe you got a little overwhelmed, or you felt like you would, be more comfortable with a little guidance. That's what you're there for.
Absolutely. And ongoing support. So any questions along the way, people can just check in with us.
Wonderful. Jennifer Lyons, Director of Marketing, Fidelis Care, thank you so much for joining us here today on Business Voice.
Thank you, Sarah.
Stick around. We're going to be right back to tell you a little bit more about the Health and Home Expo.
Of course, you love your pet. That's why it's hard to believe that you're feeding them the wrong food. Yeah, 70% of dogs and cats are eating the wrong pet food. It could be because they're getting older, a little overweight, or have allergies. PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore can help. Bring in your food or take a picture of the label, and a trained staff member will let you know what is really in the food. They know how to accurately read the labels and give you the truth about what you're feeding or not feeding your pet. If you need a change, they can recommend a food that really is healthier for your pet. And because PetSaver carries more premium food than any other store in town, including the national chains, you might even be able to pay less for a food that is better for your pet. Are you one of the 70% of pet owners that are feeding your dog or cat the wrong food? Find out for free at the PetSaver nearest you.
In Greece, Monroe Ave in Brighton, Webster, and in Victor next to Party City, across from Eastview Mall.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
More than 20,000 watts of truth. WYSL AM 1040, FM 92.1 and 95.5 West.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by PetSaver Healthy Pet Superstore. I'm Sarah Lentini, and before I let you go today, I just want to give you a little bit of information about a major event of the Chambers that's coming up on Saturday, February 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. We're going to have our annual Health and Home Expo at the Northwest Family YMCA, which is at 730 Long Pond Road in Rochester, in Greece specifically. And we've got a wonderful group of exhibitors, including organizations like Be Balanced Hormone Weight Loss Centers, Brighton Securities, Bellamy Beauty, Digital Scan Solutions, AVO Resource Solutions, the Flaum Eye Institute, Fidelis Care, and of course we had Jennifer Lyons from Fidelis Care on the show today, Farmers Insurance, the Tom Stefanini Agency, Griswold Home Care, Here USA, Holy Sepulchre and Ascension Garden, Home Instead Senior Care, Ridgecrest Insurance Agent, Sharon Quadrant Realty, C-Sue Eats, the list goes on. And they're great businesses, most of them members of the Greece Chamber, that really represent a great cross-section of the two very big, broad areas called health and home that we're trying to cover. It's free admission to the public. We'll be in the gym at the Northwest Family Y. It's a great way to come and spend your Saturday morning. There's obviously free parking at the Y as well. And a lot of the exhibitors are going to have great information, but also giveaways and drawings, and it's a lovely morning that I think you won't want to miss. Once again, that's the Chambers 2019 Health and Home Expo, Saturday, February 23rd, 9 a.m. to noon at Northwest Family Y. And if you want to see more about the exhibitors, and for that matter, if you want to check out our sponsors, you can go to greecechamber.org. That's greecechamber.org. And I just want to end by giving a special thanks to our gold sponsors, Bartolomeo and Parado Funeral Home, GRB, that's Genesee Regional Bank, Holy Sepulchre Cemetery and Ascension Garden, and Home Instead Senior Care. We so appreciate their major support along with all of the other sponsors of the event. Check out greecechamber.org, and don't forget to tune in next month for the next edition of Business Voice.
You've been listening to Business Voice. The Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce serves businesses, nonprofits, and individuals throughout the region, focusing on promoting economic and community development and serving as the voice for business. The Chamber offers networking, education, advocacy, community events, and business services. It serves as an important platform for business leaders and citizens to come together in support of common goals.